Hi, I've got something you'll be interested in. Those performance upgrades we discussed after the last race. They're on the car and the data looks promising. Take a look at the details.
Okay guys, so our chassis weight reduction that we had delayed ever so slightly has been completed now, and our car is looking lighter and faster than ever. We are now going to open up our laptop, have a quick look at the R&D tree, see what other upgrades that has unlocked for us, see if we've got any other potential upgrades that we can unlock. You can see we've just got over 500 resource points. I think we're going to leave it at that at the moment. We've got a lighter car. Hopefully now going into the Barcelona, the Catalunya Grand Prix, we can improve, and we are going to get straight in and try and do good here in Spain. We're going to listen now to our voicemail to see what our qualifying objectives are.
Hi, it's Emma here. Just wanted to let you know what the team are hoping for in the race.
So as you can see, as always, we have to try and beat Romain Grosjean, and we're going to try and finish 13th place or higher here at the circuit, the Barcelona, the Catalunya. But without further ado, let's get straight into qualifying.
Here we are at the circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya for the start of today's qualifying session. It won't be long now until we're ready to join the action down at trackside. I want to talk briefly about the strategy in these qualifying sessions. Anthony Davidson, how can a driver adjust their approach to gain those critical extra tenths of a second?
Well, qualifying isn't about adjusting your approach necessarily, it's more about trying to repeat a low fuel run that you've practiced prior to this session. You're looking for perfection on the lap, and that's hard to achieve if you're trying something new. There are some variables that can stand in your way, however. Track position or unexpected yellow flags, for example. Coupled with ever-changing track conditions, it's important to be out there at the right moment. But as a driver, you have to try and ignore these distractions and just keep your mind focused on that one perfect lap.
Alright then guys, so we're now coming up to the start of our first flying lap in the qualifying session here at the circuit, the Catalunya in Barcelona, Spain. We cross the start finish line with our DRS open down this very long pit straight as we come up now to the braking zone of turn number 1, swinging the car over to the right hand side, get onto the grass ever so slightly before the left hander of turn number 2, now taking the first long right hander here at the circuit, the Catalunya, of turn number 3, coming up now to the second long right hander, turn number 4, trying to clip the apex. We do just miss it, however hard on the acceleration as we do exit turn number 4, braking now down into the tight left hander of turn number 5, running ever so slightly wide on the exit, picking up a bit of the gravel on our front tyre, as you can see, braking up into turn number 7 before a short right hander of turn number 8. The back end tries to step out ever so slightly, but we managed to keep it under control for now, coming through turn number 9 into the second DRS detection zone, down this fairly long straight into turn number 10, hard onto the brakes, swinging the car over to the left hand side as we take turn number 10 into turn number 11 now, swinging the car slightly onto the grass through turn number 12 as we approach turn number 13, again heavy braking through turn number 13, coming up now through the tight chicane of 14 and number 15 before we are going to be racing towards the start finish line through turn number 16, activating the DRS, and we manage to set a time which gets us up into P13. We join it now as we come through on our second lap through the last couple of corners here, trying to get up higher. As you can see, our target is 13. We're in P14 at the moment. We come around the final corner, turn number 16, into the DRS zone. We are surely going to be able to beat our personal best time, and we are up into P10 here at the circuit de Catalunya. So let's see where that puts us come the end of the session.
As we wind down from the excitement of qualifying, here's a look at your top 3. Vettel, Raikkonen and Lewis Hamilton. It's time to leave for now, but we'll be back tomorrow when the Grand Prix itself gets underway. So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, edging out Raikkonen, who'll start P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Bottas, Max Verstappen and Ricciardo, Massa, Stroll, Perez and Jolyon Palmer, Hülkenberg, Ocon, Daniel Kvyat and Grosjean, Alonso, Van Dorn, a Haas and Carlos Sainz. Ericsson and Pascal Wehrlein completes the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Okay, be wary of the cars ahead braking suddenly into one. We could ruin our race if we hit them. Good luck.
So as you guys can see, it is raining. This is going to be our first race in the rain. We're going to be doing a one-stop strategy, pitting once for intermediate tyres, running the whole of the race, hopefully on intermediate tyres. There looks to be no let-up in the weather, as we do come up now to 5 red lights, and away we go at the Spanish Grand Prix here in Barcelona. We get off to an okay start. We see someone coming up our inside. It's Carlos Sainz in the Toro Rosso coming up our inside, up behind Stoffel Van Dorn. We get another car coming up our inside. We do make a bit of contact there with Carlos Sainz. We managed to make the move stick, and we are side by side now with Stoffel Van Dorn in the McLaren, and we managed to overtake him, and we are up into P16 as we come around the long right-hander of turn number 3. We see our teammate and our rival Romain Grosjean ahead of us as we are now coming up into turn number 4, braking hard, almost making contact with Romain Grosjean, coming up the inside of Fernando Alonso, forced wide by our teammate Romain Grosjean, and Fernando Alonso is easily taking over by us, and we are now late braking, getting past our teammate Romain Grosjean, and we are alongside Daniel Kvyat now in the second Toro Rosso, and we managed to make that move stick as well, and we are up into P13 so far on our first lap in wet conditions. It's going good for us. We find ourselves behind the Force India of Esteban Ocon as we come now around turn number 9. We are now braking hard late into turn number 10, trying to overtake Esteban Ocon in the Force India. We do try and force Hulkenberg a bit wide there in the Renault. Esteban Ocon is not having any of it. He's trying to come back at us up the inside around turn number 12. We're getting contact from Esteban Ocon. Our back end is sticking out. However, we are still side by side with Esteban Ocon as we come through turn number 13 into turn number 14, the tight chicane. We do manage to just make the move stick. Our back end again trying to just sneak out of position as we come around the final corner, turn number 16. We managed to make the move stick on Esteban Ocon in the Force India, and we are managing to just pull away from him. But what a first lap that was in the rain here in Barcelona. And so we rejoin the race now on lap number 4. You guys can see in the bottom right hand corner I'm just checking out how much fuel we actually have left on board, because it is looking as if our fuel is running out very quickly. We've got just about 0.9 laps worth of extra fuel on board. However, we are only 4 laps into this race, so it looks as if perhaps fuel might be a bit of an issue come the end of the race, as we come now down through turns number 14 and number 15 to try and complete lap number 5 of our race. We can see someone's just pulled into the pits, but yeah, like I say guys, we're going to be trying to keep an eye on the fuel as we come and start lap number 5. We fast forward now to lap number 8, or the end of lap number 8 rather, as we see the 2 cars ahead of us, Sergio Perez and Nico Hulkenberg in the Force India and the Renault respectively, pull into the pit lane, and we are going to start lap number 9. We know that we have to try and come out of the pits and try and undercut both of those drivers if we have any chance of finishing within the points today. So we're going to get on now, and hopefully we can make up some position whilst they're in the pits. We rejoin now, coming up to the end of lap number 10. We are up into P5, but of course guys, we are still yet to make our pit stop in this Barcelona Grand Prix as we come now through turn number 13 into turn number 14, the slow chicane. Sebastian Vettel setting the fastest time of 1:37.1. As we can see now, we're going to be pulling over to the right hand side of the track to make our first and only pit stop here in Barcelona. We see a couple of cars go past us. We are entering the pit in P number 7. We do have a bit of time on Felipe Massa, but there's no doubt that they will be able to overtake us. Hopefully we do manage to come out of the pit in around 10th place. That would be good for us, and we will hopefully be able to make a race of it. After all, we come in 2.8 seconds is the pit stop time. Fantastic from our pit lane crew. We can see a couple of cars coming past us, Massa and Sergio Perez coming up past us. We are now coming out of the pit lane. You can see the Renault of Jolyon Palmer coming up side by side as we enter turn number 1, make a bit of contact with his rear tyres as we do get forced a bit wide, and we see Nico Hulkenberg, his teammate, come through, and we are up into P12. Coming up now on lap number 14 as we come around the final corner here at the Circuit de Catalunya. We can see that Nico Hulkenberg is perhaps just losing a bit of power as we come up through the pit straight. We don't have DRS enabled, but we are ever so slightly gaining on Nico Hulkenberg down this very long pit straight as we come up now to the braking zone of turn number 1. Late braking, we managed to make the move stick as we come through turn number 1, and we are now setting our sights on his teammate Jolyon Palmer ahead of us. We are up into P11. Coming up now to midway through lap number 15, coming up behind the Renault of Jolyon Palmer. Coming through turn number 9, we see that we want to try and make a move down the inside of turn number 10. Late braking, we can see that Jolyon Palmer has a bit of a lock up on his front left tyre and he runs wide. So through turn number 10 we are able to take position of Jolyon Palmer and up into 10th place here at Barcelona. We now move on to our final lap here at the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona, Spain. Coming up now to turn number 4. We are up into P number 10, but as you guys can see in our bottom right hand corner, our fuel, we are running out of fuel as we come around the final few corners here in Barcelona. Coming through turn number 5, we see Kimi Räikkönen take the checkered flag, and he has won this Barcelona Grand Prix. As we come through turn number 7 and turn number 8, we've got Jolyon Palmer in the Renault, who we overtook a few laps ago, very much on our heels, and you can see that we are still very much in the red zone for our fuel consumption. So guys, we are very much neck and neck with whether or not we'll be able to make it past the line just in time before we run out of fuel as we come through turn number 10, turn number 11. It's still raining, guys. It looks like there's going to be no let off of the weather as we come through turn number 12 before we have to try and brake now into turn number 13, trying to save as much fuel as we can. We do switch back over to the lean mix, which has been causing us a lot of problems throughout today's race. As we come now up to the final corner, turn number 16, we are going to be trying to force our way past the line, and you guys can hear that we are out of fuel. We are just coasting now. We have no power left. We are on minimal fuel as we see loads and loads of cars come past us, and we are up into and finish in P number 14 here at the Barcelona Grand Prix. What a way to finish.
A great win then for the Maranello team today. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
It's a heroic effort for any driver to race in conditions like these, and seeing them fight their way to the front was very special indeed. They were able to find all the grip, all the good lines, and had the confidence to get on the power to top it all off. That's what pushed them into first place here today.
So here they come now, out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out in force again today. It's Ferrari on the top step once more. And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. Well, the lead at the top has come down after a poor result for our points leader. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
I'm going to say Carlos Sainz. It was probably one of his best drives this season, and I was thoroughly impressed. Today, I think I'll give it to the Haas driver. They fought so hard and had incredible pace at times, so I don't think anyone else did a better job today.
On to the constructors then. We saw a dip in form from the championship leaders today. Their lead has taken a significant blow. Well, what a weekend that has been. Please join us next time for another thrilling instalment of this Formula One season.